Today's media landscape is complicated, from mainstream newspapers to Twitter to TV news channels and obscure websites. Many of us want to know, are we being fed fake news? Can we trust reporters? Whom can we trust in the search for reliable journalism? The answer to that question is Media Man. Media Man checks facts, weighs headlines, analyzes political bias, and saves the day for conscientious news consumers. What will Media Man have to say about your favorite news source? The most trustworthy and balanced sources are awarded a golden microphone. All microphone icons indicate the work of well-trained, award-winning news journalists, but sources receiving blue microphones have a liberal editorial slant, and red microphones have a conservative one. Sources that operate with strong partisan agendas that frequently mix news with commentary are marked with bullhorns, and the worst among them, the shady propaganda sources with questionable ethics, receive the dreaded flaming bullhorn.
Our story begins at the top of the chart with one of Media Man's favorite sources, Reuters, a news source that has been around since 1851. It has won 2 Pulitzers for international reporting.
Hey, kid, I see your teacher's been directing you to some great sources.
Yeah, it's called
It's pronounced Reuters. They require their reporters to be neutral on all political issues and even have a journalism handbook enforcing this policy.
But what about this headline? It says Trump calls courts so political as travel ban faces scrutiny. Doesn't this kind of bash the Republicans?
No, because Reuters is accurately quoting Trump and stating a fact. His travel ban did indeed face scrutiny. Let's take a look at the next headline on the page.
Trump heralds close ties with Egypt.
See, the travel ban story is bad news for Trump, but the Egypt story is good news for Trump. Reuters doesn't focus on just one side of the political scene.
So you're saying Reuters is balanced?
Kid, you're a fast learner. I'll give you an A+, and I'll give Reuters a golden microphone.
Next up is the Wall Street Journal, a print and online newspaper that's also been around for more than a century. It's won 39 Pulitzers and is owned by Dow Jones, a finance and publishing company.
Hedge funds.
Bonds.
Earnings estimates.
Insider trading.
You may think that these are the only type of people that read the Wall Street Journal, but in fact, everyone should read it.
Who's he? I don't think we should be taking advice from a guy in tights.
My team analyzed headlines from the journal's front page and found that 23 out of 24 were undeniably neutral. For example, in a series of stories about the resignation of Trump's security advisor, this highly political topic was discussed with factual language that does not slander either party. One headline labeled the outgoing advisor's career as contentious, which is negative but not biased. And the story goes on to list multiple examples of contentious or controversial moments in his past. Media Man likes the Wall Street Journal, and it has one of the largest circulations in the country.
So you're saying that we're not the only ones who read it?
Absolutely not. In fact, I give the Wall Street Journal a golden microphone.
The National Review was founded in 1955 by William F. Buckley, Jr., one of the most respected conservative voices in 20th century America. The online magazine describes itself as a conservative weekly journal of opinion that's on the libertarian side of social issues.
Hey Leon, looks like you're having fun.
Yeah, I am. I'm just doing some light reading and catching up on current events. This headline's really interesting. It reads, Ms. Clinton is not the future, and neither are her illiterate slogans.
Well, that's a bit partisan, don't you think?
Well, it's true. The article makes an excellent argument.
Ugh, I'm not gonna argue with you, Leon. I guess there's only one person who could help us with this.
Indeed I can. I'm very familiar with the National Review. It's my go-to publication for thoughtful conservative opinions.
See, Leon, it's all about conservative opinions. And I, for one, am very much against media bias.
But Felicia, bias isn't necessarily bad, as long as it's not hidden. This magazine doesn't pretend to be straight newspaper. Their opinions clearly favor the right, but I've found that their arguments often have a thoughtful balance. For example, in the article called No to Pulitzer, The editors criticized the Republican president's choice for the head of Labor Department, but they also mentioned Putzer's virtues despite not liking him.
See, Felicia, you should have known I don't read that trashy propaganda. It's beneath you.
Glad to hear that, Leon. But make sure that partisan media aren't your only news sources. I'm giving the National Review a red microphone. It has excellent writing with a deliberate lean to the right.
Since the New York Times was founded in 1851, it has won over 100 Pulitzer Prizes, more than any other news publication. It is edited by Dean Baquet, also a Pulitzer Prize winner.
Hey, honey, what are you reading?
The New York Times.
The New York Times? Don't read that. Trump says their news is fake and that they're failing.
Really? I didn't know that. If only there was someone around who could tell us if that's true.
I can tell you.
Media Man!
Let's see. It looks like today's headlines are all politically neutral except for one. GOP's grand visions for Congress now look like a mirage. Some of the language here is figurative or biased, like when they call the Republican agenda a mirage that is aggressive and gliding toward nowhere.
Yeah, that's the article I was reading. The writer says Trump has a lack of clear policy guidance, which seems like an interpretation to me, not purely factual, and they seem to ridicule his use of Twitter.
Oh, I see why Trump doesn't like the New York Times. Because the New York Times doesn't like him.
The New York Times employs skilled reporters, but its editors have a liberal track record, so I'm giving it a blue microphone, our second highest rating.
Owned by the Gannett Company, the largest newspaper publisher in the United States, USA Today has been...
Maybe reading today's front page news will help me feel less miserable and sick.
Well, that's highly unlikely. But the good news is that reading USA Today will provide you with a simple, easy-to-read news presentation, unlikely to make your headache worse.
I really like the pretty colors.
Yes, they are proud of their unique visual storytelling. Let's look at some of today's top stories. Trump begins search to replace Flynn as questions mount. A simple, objective headline for mainstream news. But look a little bit further down the page. President Trump crashes Nashville couple's wedding. This story is less serious with more pop culture appeal. USA Today tries to be engaging and unifying, a paper for all Americans.
But look over here. This headline reads, Trump's fear-mongering isn't new. That sounds like it's only for Americans who don't like Trump.
But this article is in the opinion section. It's not supposed to be straight news, regardless of what newspaper you're reading. Be aware that the news pages are different from the opinion pages.
Are USA Today's opinions generally left-leaning?
Yes, but according to research, most major American newspapers tend to be liberal in their editorial positions, perhaps because of their metropolitan settings. I'd still give USA Today a gold microphone, but keep in mind that its style is not as serious or in-depth.
The Fox News Channel was founded about 20 years ago by media tycoon Rupert Murdoch, along with longtime CEO Roger Ailes, who's been a media consultant for Republican presidents Nixon, Reagan, and Trump. The slogan of Fox News is fair and balanced.
White House correspondent John Roberts is live at the White House with more for us now. John?
A lot of fast-moving details to report to you this morning, Jenna. You know, one of the people who has been identified by the FBI as being under investigation for whatever contacts they might have had with Russia is Paul Manafort, who, of course, was the president, then candidate Donald Trump's campaign manager until the end of July. I just got off the phone with Mr. Manafort, who told me unequivocally the following, quote, I have never had any connection to Putin or Russian government, either directly or indirectly, before, during, and after.
Hello, news consumer. What are you watching today?
It's Fox News. Pretty much my favorite news source. I watch it daily.
Which Fox show, may I ask?
I'm not sure. Does it really matter?
Oh yes. Many Fox shows present conservative opinion and chit-chat rather than straight news reporting.
Hey, look, this show's called Happening Now.
Ah, good choice. This is one of Fox's straight news broadcasts. Getting your information from TV news channels can be risky because they have to fill a whole day with programming, and not all of it can be factual reporting. A lot of the time, it gets filled with discussion and commentary from guests.
I've never thought about that. But I mean, this Russia stuff seems pretty legit. What do you think?
Well, I haven't been listening to the details since we've been talking, but I did read the online version of the story. I found it to be factually accurate and truthful, but the quotes were imbalanced, most of them favoring a Republican point of view.
So what's going to be, Media Man? Thumbs up or down for my boys at Fox?
If we could easily isolate the straight news reports from the opinion, like we can and do in most newspapers, then I'd give them a red-leaning microphone. But since most Fox shows mix the news with a lot of conservative commentary, I think it's gonna have to be a red bullhorn.
Founded in 1980 by Ted Turner, CNN, the cable news network, was the first TV news network in the world to provide 24-hour coverage. Its worldwide division, featuring the notable Anderson Cooper, has won multiple News Emmy Awards.
Sorry to interrupt your lunch break, lady, but I couldn't help but notice the headline, Donald Trump's Universe of Alternative Facts. It sounds biased to me.
Oh, relax, Media Man. It's just a catchy title. I'm reading the entire report on CNN's website, and the story is full of quotes, exact times and dates, and statistics.
Yes, but it's not hard to put a partisan spin on quotes and statistics. This reporter is actually using a sarcastic tone to ridicule the quote from Trump, which isn't what objective news reporting should do.
Okay, but what about this headline? GOP's efforts to shut Warren up backfires. Sounds factual to me.
The events being described are factual, but listen to the word choice. To shut someone up is rude, and it depicts the Republicans as the rude bad guys. Furthermore, look at the list of top stories. More than half have a liberal spin. Even the Pew Research Center found that CNN puts Republicans in a negative light at a margin of 3-1.
This has really ruined my lunch, Media Man. Are you telling me I can never watch CNN again?
Not at all. Just like Fox, CNN employs some excellent journalists, but it's hard to sift the news from the opinions on a TV news network. Since CNN leans left so often, you just have to be on the alert for bias. I'll give them a blue bullhorn.
The Huffington Post, often referred to simply as HuffPost, was founded in 2005 by Arianna Huffington, one of Forbes' most influential women in media.
Here's your half-calf soy non-fat mocha.
Thanks, Tallulah. I was just reading the HuffPost, but the internet seems to have frozen on me.
I wouldn't worry about that too much. The HuffPost only shows you the left side of the story anyway. A headline from earlier this week said, Hillary Clinton absolutely burns Michael Flynn with a single tweet. Very biased.
I remember that one. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm with her.
You two clearly enjoyed the HuffPost, and that's fine with me, but you have to read partisan publications with an awareness that you're not getting a fair or balanced news report. And when it comes to HuffPost opinion pieces, you will always get a very liberal point of view.
Yeah, liberal and funny too. Listen to this. From the opening line of the editorial I was reading, there was once a Trump who was huge. He denied he was Putin's stooge.
All the humor in the world won't make a news source objective, guys. If you care about balance, I'd recommend that you listen to a conservative point of view now and then.
Tallulah, maybe tomorrow we should read the National Review over a nice cup of sugar-free green tea.
Excellent idea, my hipster friends. And now, I'll give the Huffington Post a flaming blue bullhorn and bid you two farewell.
Breitbart is a far-right news and opinion website founded in 2007 by Andrew Breitbart with a pro-freedom and pro-Israel agenda. Its most recent executive chairman was Steve Bannon, who is currently Donald Trump's chief strategist.
I see you taking a break from today's rally. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just resting my voice and my legs, and I thought I'd read a little bit of Breitbart to get myself riled up again.
Breitbart has a pretty bad reputation these days. About 1,000 advertisers are currently boycotting them.
Well, you know, everyone loves to hit a winner. I mean, that's what I've always said. Just look at this headline. Agency absolutely tapping Trump's cause. I need Breitbart to tell the truth about the liberal agenda.
But truth shouldn't be biased. The article's case for wiretapping is based on one interview with one man who's stating his opinion on the subject. The headline is misleading, and that's not how ethical news stories should be written.
All right, if you want to talk ethics in journalism, look at this. Law enforcement applauds Trump's attack on the dishonest media. You see, some of us know that the media in the U.S. is out of control. Are you dishonest, Media Man?
No, friend, Media Man is here to fight dishonesty and make journalism great again.
Oh, look, I bet you're going to give us a flaming Red Bull, Lauren, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and I encourage you and all my fans to choose their media sources wisely. This is Media Man signing off, wishing you good luck and good news.
Hey there, media consumers. Media Man's work for today is done, but we, his fans, will never forget his most highly recommended news sources. The Reuters News Agency, the Wall Street Journal, and on the lighter side of things, USA Today. If you'd like to learn more information about Media Man's recommendations, his research team, or the citations on this video, please visit MediaMan2017.wordpress.com.